Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another special edition of the Leadership and Success Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Proverb 13. Again, this is not a religious podcast. We're just going to focus on ancient wisdom and leadership lesson from the book of Proverbs. We did the original broadcast on January the 13th. We read one chapter of Proverbs every single day in January, but today will be a 10-minute AI recap for this wonderful proverb. So what I will do is I'm going to use two AI generated videos. So it's about 7 minutes each. So it's going to be about 12 minutes long or so. And they're going to give us a summary. And while you are listening to it, please let me know, where are you joining us from? What city, what state? And if outside of the US, which country? And also, what are you grateful for today? Today, like every day this month, I am grateful for Black History Month. I am really grateful for the contribution of African American in this country. I believe descendants of slaves have built America, and I want to make sure people know about some of those famous, little known, and unsung triumph of Black America. This is a book I recommend, African American First. Great book written by John Porter, because there is so much about African American history that we just don't know, and African American history is American history. All right, and also as you listen to the AI recap, please jot down 3 to 5 takeaway from this episode, and most importantly, what is one thing you are going to put into practice this weekend? Because to me, leadership is not just theory; it's really execution. It's all about action. So, to get started, I'm gonna do the two vignettes we do. One is Today in History. Today is February the 13th. So we are gonna look at something that happened on February the 13th in our history. And then I'm also gonna highlight a first in the US military history, African American first in the military. And next Wednesday, I am going to have 4 interviews. So if you can join me first, I will be speaking with my friend Dan Stoddard, all the way from Manchester in the United Kingdom. He is really an AI guru, authentically inspirational, right? He authentically inspires organization about the future of work, AI, and the 5th industrial revolution. He's a TEDx and keynote speaker and a media guest and author, and trusted by Kellogg, Sodexo, and many more Fortune 1000 companies. So Dan is going to be here. And after I speak with Dan, I will have a great pleasure of speaking with Professor Melissa Bowie. She turns curiosity into courage, and one experiment at a time. So she's really great with personal growth and development and experimentation. She's a best-selling author of Faceplant, and we're going to be talking about her best-selling book, and a speaker from Denver. So she will be here on Wednesday, and then after her, I will be speaking to Master Sergeant, retired now, U.S. Air Force, Siobhan Chevy Maxwell. Federal execution partner, work with tech founder who want to gain federal opportunities through qualified proposal and core partnership through sacrificing time or capacity. Grant SBR, author, speaker, and she's a leadership coach as well. So I look forward to speaking with Master Sergeant Chevy on Wednesday. And then finally, I'm going to end the day with Wikia McGee, logistic expert and aspiring cybersecurity specialist, skilled in risk management and emergency response, and Army National Guard officer. I believe she's a major. So we're going to be speaking to a major, Wikia McGee, U.S. Army, on Wednesday. So I look forward to that. And also, everybody knows as of today, for this week, our friend in the spotlight is Commander Adrienne Townsend Benton. She's a chaplain on U.S. Navy. I did interview her last season. Please go ahead and watch the interview. Really, really fascinating. She has so much wisdom. Also, a leadership expert. All right, so that's all of the announcement I have. So now let me share our Black History Month celebration. So for the first vignette, we are going to talk about what happened on February 13. We're going to go back to 1960. So February 13, 1960, Nashville sit-in ignite a movement. On this day in 1960, courage walked quietly into downtown Nashville. More than 500 students from several universities there in Tennessee, Fisk, Tennessee State, Miami Medical College, the American Baptist Theological Seminary, they all gathered with discipline, strategy, and moral clarity. They were trained, organized, and nonviolent. That's very important to note. So they simply asked to be served at segregated lunch counter, and they were refused. White merchant called the police. Students were arrested for trespassing and disorderly conduct. As they marched silently through downtown, mobs hurried rocks, cigarette, and racial slur. Instead of protecting them, authorities arrested 77 black students and 5 white allies who stood beside them. And on February 29, 1982, activists were convicted in a one-day trial. They were given a choice: pay a fine or serve jail time. A 22-year-old student from Fisk University, Diane Nash, really a hero, she stood in open court and declared that paying the fine would mean supporting injustice. She chose jail. So you can read the entire story on my post. This is what happened February 13, 1960. Really, what a shame that is. And these people, they call themselves Christian. But anyway, it just talks to the resilience and the strength of African American and really standing for justice. Okay, the other vignette I have for celebrating Black History Month today is about Benjamin O. Davis Sr. He's the very first flag officer, African American flag officer in the U.S. Army. So first African American general, and not only him, but his son as well. I think you can see him here. Let me see if I can click on the picture. His son, Benjamin O. Davis Jr., became a 3-star general in the Air Force too, which is pretty amazing as father, as son. But just an incredible story. So he was born in Washington, D.C. in 1877. Benjamin O. Davis Sr. enlisted in the U.S. Army at age 21. So he went from enlisted to 1-star general, beginning a 50-year military career defined by discipline, perseverance, and historic achievement. He served in the Spanish-American War, World War I and World War II. Over 5 decades, he rose steadily through the ranks despite systemic racism and institutional barrier. In 1920, he became a lieutenant colonel. Then in 1940, 20 years later, he shattered the ceilings that had stood since the founding of the nation. He became the very first African-American brigadier general in the U.S. Army. Wow, that is quite amazing. So you can read more again on my post on LinkedIn. So we really want to honor those heroes, those who have come before us. I definitely stand on the shoulder of people just like that. Okay, now the next 12 minutes or so, I'm going to play 2 AI-generated videos, again, about Proverbs chapter 13. So we are focusing again on ancient wisdom and leadership lesson. This is not a religious study. Hopefully, this is going to be adding value to you. And I'm asking, as you are watching, let me know again where you are joining us from, city, state, outside of the US, which country, what you are grateful for today. 3 to 5 takeaway from today's episode, and one thing you are going to put in practice today. Here we go.
So, we're going to dig into some timeless leadership wisdom today, and it comes from a pretty surprising place, the ancient book of Proverbs, chapter 13. It turns out the principles that guide, say, a naval officer, a tech lead, or a CISO, they're universal. They've been laid out for centuries. Let's jump in and see how they apply to us right now.
Okay, so this really gets to the core of it.
Trusted leadership? It's not an accident. It doesn't just happen. It's built. It's the result of these deliberate, daily choices you make, especially when no one is watching. It's not about that one big, heroic moment during a crisis. Nope. It's about the small, consistent habits you forge under the daily grind.
And this leads us to this really powerful kind of leadership equation. It's so simple, but it's also incredibly profound. The discipline you put in today directly builds the influence you'll have tomorrow. See, you can't just hope you'll become a trusted leader. You have to build your way there, one disciplined choice at a time.
All right, so where does this whole building process even start? Well, it begins inside, with you. These first principles are all about the foundational choices you make about your own character, long before you even think about stepping into your next high-stakes meeting.
So the first big choice is simple. Are you teachable? I mean, really. The most effective leaders, whether they're on a naval vessel or a security team, they listen before they lead. Wisdom, it seeks to understand. Folly, it just reacts, usually pretty defensively.
So let me ask you this, straight up. Who in your life is actually allowed to challenge you, to correct you? And when they do, how do you take it? Do you see that correction as a threat to your authority, or as a gift that actually sharpens you? Pride just closes our ears, but a little humility, that opens the door to real growth.
Now, in these high-stakes environments, think about a war room or a critical cybersecurity incident call. Your words carry immense weight. A single phrase can either build trust and bring everyone back into alignment, or it can totally escalate the tension and just destroy morale. There's really not much middle ground.
And here's the crucial insight. This isn't about being polite. Thoughtful communication is a strategic necessity. When you guard your words, you are literally guarding the mission. Responding thoughtfully when you're under pressure, that's a sign of maturity. Reacting emotionally, well, that just undermines the entire team.
Look, everyone wants success, right? The desire for it is common. What's rare is the discipline to actually achieve it. We've all seen this with New Year's resolutions, haven't we? Motivation is like a spark. It's great, but it fades fast. Discipline is the engine that just keeps going day after day after day.
So how do we actually become more disciplined? Well, here are 3 really clear, actionable steps. First, stop focusing on goals and start focusing on habits. Translate those goals into daily actions. Second, measure your progress by your consistency, not just by how inspired you feel. And third, be strategic about this. Design your environment to make the right choices the easy ones. You got to reduce that temptation. Okay, so now let's see how all this inner character stuff actually translates to our outer actions. These are the principles that are going to sustain and protect your leadership out in the real world, especially when the pressure's on.
I want you to think of integrity as a shield. In leadership, your most valuable currency, by far, is your credibility. Shortcuts, yeah, they might promise a quick win, but they always come at a long-term cost. And believe me, once that credibility is gone, it is painfully difficult to earn back.
All right, here's another moment for a little self-reflection. Think about your work right now. Where's the pressure really mounting? Where are you most tempted to, bend a standard or rationalize a shortcut for some short-term gain? Just knowing your weak points, that's the first step to actually protecting them. There's this really powerful idea here that says rank is rented, but trust is earned. I love that. Your title, your position on the org chart, it's all temporary. It's just rented space. But the trust you build with your team, that's something you own, and it can last a lifetime.
And this really gets to the heart of what we call stewardship. See, true leadership isn't about ownership. It's about how you manage the influence you've been given just for a season. Your legacy isn't going to be the title you held. It's going to be how well you stewarded that responsibility.
All right, finally, let's talk about the external inputs that can just dramatically accelerate your growth. These are your force multipliers, the people and the influences you choose to surround yourself with.
So many leadership failures, they don't happen because of incompetence. They happen because of isolation. Pride tells us we have to have all the answers, right? But wisdom understands that seeking out diverse, honest counsel is a sign of strength, not weakness.
This totally reframes humility, doesn't it? It's not passive. It is a strategic advantage. It's a force multiplier. It multiplies your wisdom by allowing you to borrow the perspectives of others, which helps you avoid totally preventable mistakes. Ultimately, it just makes your decisions stronger.
This is a concept I'm sure you've heard before, and it is profoundly true. Proximity shapes your destiny.
The people you walk with, the voices you listen to, the stuff you read and watch, all of it is shaping your leadership trajectory whether you realize it or not. So take a second and do a quick audit of your inner circle. Are the people you spend the most time with actually elevating your standards? Are they challenging you to be better? Or are they making you complacent? Your relationships are either sharpening you or they're dulling you. It's one or the other. So as we start to bring all of this together, we can really see two clear paths emerge. And it all comes back to that central theme, the intentional, daily choices that forge your legacy over time.
So let's just recap the core lessons here. It all starts with discipline that compounds over time, right? And that's protected by the shield of integrity. Your words then go on to shape your culture, while wise counsel acts as a guardrail to keep you from failing. And this whole mindset of stewardship, that's what builds your legacy. And finally, the relationships you choose, they ultimately determine your direction. If you only take away one thing from all this, let it be this. Enduring leadership isn't forged in some big, dramatic, heroic moment. It's forged in the daily grind. It's the result of thousands of small, consistent, disciplined choices that you make every single day.
And this really brings us full circle, back to the beginning. This is the essence of what Proverbs 13 is saying to modern leaders like us. You don't accidentally become credible. You don't just drift into influence. You build it, brick by brick, with each disciplined choice. So the final question is for you. The habits you're forming right now, today, are shaping the leader you're going to become tomorrow. Your discipline today is literally building the credibility you're going to rely on down the road. So, knowing that, what choice are you going to make?
Welcome to the session. Today we're diving into the practical yet ancient wisdom of leadership from Proverbs 13, where real-world lessons for military officers and tech leaders are outlined.
I'm excited about this. It's intriguing how ancient texts can speak so directly to our modern challenges.
Right, it's not about mystical theories, but very down-to-earth guidance, like how discipline, wise counsel, and intentional relationships build influence over time.
Yep, exactly. It's all about the concrete everyday habits that shape true leadership.
Let's kick things off with the idea that teachability is the gateway to growth. Proverbs reminds us that leaders who listen and are open to instruction pave the way for real progress. It's like taking a listening tour before you even start making changes.
So, would you say that in practice, a leader must actively seek out feedback, even if it stings a bit?
Exactly. Correction is not a threat, it's a gift. Leaders who welcome corrective feedback rather than react defensively are far more likely to evolve and succeed over time.
That definitely makes sense, especially in high-pressure environments.
Now, moving on to how words shape outcomes and culture. Proverbs tells us that guarding one's mouth is crucial in high-stakes scenarios. One
Right.
wrong word can deteriorate trust, or conversely, help restore it during conflict.
So careful communication is almost a form of damage control, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's pivotal. Then we have the lesson on discipline, separating aspiration from achievement. This is the idea that while desire is common, discipline is rare and truly drives success.
Because motivation can fade, but established habits carry you through.
Yes, and that's where the saying, the soul of the diligent shall be made rich, resonates. It's like, turning daily, sometimes mundane actions into stepping stones for long-term influence.
I do wonder, though, some might argue that in the face of rapidly changing circumstances, clinging too rigidly to discipline might limit flexibility.
That's a fair point, but the message here is about building reliable systems and habits, not being inflexible. Integrity, for example, demands that even when shortcuts tempt us, we hold fast to our values. Flexibility is important, but not at the cost of compromising core principles.
True, better to be known for standing by your word.
Moving on, stewardship determines legacy. Proverbs 13 emphasizes that leadership isn't about temporary titles, but about how you manage and pass on influence.
Absolutely.
Your legacy is built on trust and faithful stewardship of your responsibilities.
I love that. It's like the difference between a flash in the pan and something that truly endures over time.
Exactly. And then there's the lesson on wise counsel. It shows that decisions are sharpened when you're surrounded by honest, respectful advice and diverse perspectives.
Right. So, essentially, a leader must avoid the isolation trap, which can lead to blind spots in decision making.
Precisely. It's about building a team or even a personal board of directors that challenges you.
Yep.
Without that, even the smartest leader can fall prey to pride.
That really highlights the value of emotional intelligence as much as it does raw intellect.
And finally, Proverbs reminds us that influence is transferred through relationships. Leadership is less about the title and more about who you surround yourself with and how those connections sharpen your direction.
So it's like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Exactly. It's like feeding off the energy and wisdom of those in your circle. But, and here's a caution, it's not just about being in any room. It's about finding rooms that challenge and elevate you.
I sometimes worry, though, that if everyone in your circle thinks alike, you could fall into an echo chamber.
That's a great challenge. True leadership development demands diversity of thought. Surround yourself with people who, while aligned with your values, push you to think and act differently. It's that mix that fuels
Right.
growth.
Definitely a balance to strike.
So, tying it all together, the big idea from Proverbs 13 is that discipline today determines influence tomorrow. It tells leaders, across fields from military to tech, that trusted leadership isn't accidental. It's built intentionally through daily actions, wise choices, and relationship management.
That really sums it up. It makes me think about our everyday choices and how they add up over time.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Whether you're a naval officer or a cybersecurity leader, small disciplined acts, listening deeply, guarding your words, staying true to your core values, compound and set you up for real influence.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the same principles apply in completely different arenas.
Right. It's a universal blueprint. In military command, where stakes are high and timing is critical, and in tech leadership, where innovation meets risk, these lessons provide a solid foundation.
And it's appealing because it demystifies leadership, showing it as a series of everyday practices rather than just grand moments.
Precisely, it's like saying, leadership isn't built in bursts of motivation, but in continuous intentional habits. Whether it's discipline, integrity, or seeking counsel, every small decision counts.
I really appreciate that. It makes leadership seem more accessible, like something you can actively work on every day.
And let's not forget some of the powerful quotes like, "The soul of the diligent shall be made rich." That really draws the line between wishful thinking and rigorous execution.
True, that particular phrase resonates as a constant reminder that shortcuts might bring quick wins, but they erode influence over time.
Absolutely. So, in all, these lessons urge us to be teachable, speak with intention, act with consistent discipline, and cultivate relationships and counsel that support our vision. Leadership, as taught here, is deliberately built, one disciplined choice at a time.
And that's a powerful reminder for anyone stepping into leadership, regardless of the field. Thanks for unpacking these insights. They really offer a roadmap for
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.